Welcome to the Tipsy Guest Podcast. I am your host, Marco Buenrostro, and every week I'm here with the top industry experts, amazing clients, and all my vendor BFFs to bring you the best tips, advice, and juicy behind-the-scenes stories to make wedding and event planning a breeze. So grab your favorite drink and let's get this party started! Hey guys, welcome back to the Tipsy Guest, Marco, your host. And today, he's back. He's back by popular demand. I have Winston.
Let's get it.
Gaines Entertainment.
Back at it, man. I hope y'all watched my previous episode. I was dropping some gems, but leaving it open to your interpretation so you can be creative with your ceremony. But
it is always fun to have you around. I mean, I never know what you're going to say next, which could be a good thing or could be a bad thing. I mean, talk about being controversial and getting canceled.
He's already nervous.
I'm definitely not nervous, but sometimes, you just gotta be careful with this one. If you know Winston, he is, I would say, one of the only vendors out there that will tell you how it is. Like, he is not going to be hiding shit from you. He would be, if you're doing something wrong, if you're doing something good, or if you're doing something that is not going to go anywhere, he would tell you.
Yeah, I've always just been not necessarily like purposely raised that way, but that's just the makeup of my family background. Is just what it is what it is. So if you don't like it, you're gonna have to kick rocks, be sad about it in the corner for a minute, but like it is what it is. So I've always just tried to be transparent with everyone in the industry, from my super humble beginnings to where I am now. I'm still climbing, by the way, so don't think I made it. I ain't made it yet, but I always want to be transparent. I always want people to know that if you have something on your mind and you want me to look at something or just give you my honest opinion, I'm all for it. Let's get it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I like that, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. We have a very, I would say, a good topic because I mean, we live in San Antonio. We're in Central Texas.
Yep.
And things are not always pretty in Texas.
No, not at all.
So we are going to be diving right in. I'm sure you are going to have a lot to say about this specific topic. And we, so I guess for our listeners, welcome.
Tell them about the show, Marco.
So today we are going to be discussing LGBTQ plus topics, minority couples. Mm-hmm. I know that you are always very open about these topics. Yeah. We've talked about this before, but I mean, there's a lot of couples out there that are struggling to find vendors because some vendors don't like to work with specific, people.
Yeah.
So in this case, I guess let's hear it. What has your experience been in general, just throughout the years with LGBT couples or just minority couples in general?
Yeah. So I first want to start out by saying that anyone in our area that hears from me on a regular basis knows that I'm going to be an ally and a champion for, anyone that's treated differently, period. I don't care. White, black, green, gay, straight, whatever. I got your back. So it's not necessarily me just like always trying to blow the whistle. I'm just trying to make sure that everyone's treated fairly, right? Because my background, the makeup of me, is a black man. So I've witnessed wrongdoings, right? I mean, I'm being comical right now and I'm being lighthearted, but I've been treated differently before in different settings, right? So I just don't like to see that happen to anybody else. So the overarching point for me on this subject as a whole, before we get into it, is everyone should be treated the same. And if you're running a business and you don't want to work with a specific set of people, I say this all the time, and I can say it till I'm blue in the face. Make it public, right? I'm not for you treating people differently under any circumstance, but if you're not gonna let a gay man get married on your property because he's gay, why not just put it on the website? Why not just put it on your social media?
Yeah, because then I feel like in a way, like, it saves them the humiliation in a way of showing up to the venue or reaching out to them, and then they're like, nope, sorry, you're not welcome here.
Real story. And I never, I'm not a good storyteller because I never fluff my stories. So, so a lot of times when I'm at dinner parties or even like networking events, my stories never get a big pop of a laugh because it's just the truth. So this is a real story. Couple was looking for a venue. This is the short way to the story, by the way. Couple was looking for the venue, and they got to the first venue, really loved it, fell in love with it, and they were like, "This is it." They had the date, they had the time, and then the person giving them the tour was like, "So, where's the groom and what's his name?" So they could like put it on the paper and input information, yada yada yada, right? And they go, "Oh, it's for us. We're getting married to each other. It's a female and a female." And then she kind of gives them the,
oh no,
right? And it wasn't even direct. It was more like, "Oh, we'll get back to you when we can." Never got back to him.
That's
so
horrible.
They followed up because they fell in love with this place. They followed up. "Oh, we'll get back to you." Followed up again. Like, what are we doing? Because we're trying to plan a wedding. We have a strict timetable. We don't have.
They need a venue, of course, to start planning.
Yeah. Long story short, they told him we don't really support that lifestyle, so you can't get married here.
But they waited until the third follow up.
A lot of what happens in our area, I can't speak on Oklahoma, Louisiana, Alabama, like all these other states surrounding, but a lot of what happens in Texas is people will hide behind religious views and standpoints, which is fine. I support anybody that's faithful to anything. Ride it out. I'm with you. That's cool. But people will hide behind different things to try to maybe get their point across that they don't accept something. There's a better way for me to say that, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. So I just think a lot of it could be avoided if it was just out there like, "Hey, I'm a Christian business owner and I do not support that in any way possible." Put that shit on your website.
Yeah, I mean it's 2020 time of recording time. It's 2024.
Yeah,
I mean people are pretty open about everything nowadays.
Everything. They'll talk to you to your blue in the face about how much they support a certain political figure.
Yeah.
Right. And we won't go into that because that could be a whole nother. That's a whole nother thing in itself. But they'll talk to you all day about how much they love the Texas Longhorns. But when it comes to like the business that they run and that they call a business, which again, these are things that just blow my mind. They're not going to tell you that up front. We got to send you a message, a voicemail, and say, "Hey, you can't do this here because."
Which is kind of like, if you really think about it, as a business owner, you want to make money. I mean, if you look at it that way, at least for me, I'm like, I'm in this business to make money. I'm going to try to accommodate my services to everyone.
Which in your experience, I'm going to flip it on you as I'm going to be the interviewer now.
Ooh.
In your experience.
Welcome to the Tipsy Guest with Gaines Entertainment.
Yes, guest host, Gaines Entertainment. I'm Winston, guys. Welcome. So in your experience, is it even hard to do a wedding for someone that's gay versus straight? Like, is it harder or easier? Is there any difference?
There's no difference at all. Like, it is, we're still showing up to do a setup. We're still showing up to work 3, 4, 5 hours of photo booth.
Yeah.
I mean, the guests are the same. They're gonna have fun. Some are gonna be dramatic. Some are gonna be drunk. Some are gonna be crying.
But that's on both sides.
But it's on both. It's everywhere. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. I've had young couples. I've had older couples. Same-sex couples.
It's crazy.
To me, the only difference is the name that's going to be on the printout.
That's it.
But that's it. But to me, every event is the same.
It's about the same.
And I always tell my staff, like whenever we do, for example, wedding fairs, which you do a lot of wedding fairs. I do a lot of wedding fairs, and I always tell my staff, we need to be, we need to make sure that we use inclusive. With inclusiveness with everyone, because there was one time, and I felt so embarrassed. I was at an open house at a venue, and I think it was like it was a group of people, and I was talking to the mother of the bride, and I was talking to them, and I was like, "Hey, so we can customize your printouts, with the name of the bride and the groom," and she corrected me right away. She's like, "Well, it's actually 2 brides, and they're right here." And I guess she felt that I was being a certain way, but I was like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. So from that moment,
Yeah.
I made sure,
Absolutely.
that we always say couples. We don't specify bride or groom or anything. It's just.
That's a good example though of how you can discriminate and not really mean it, because that was just a slip up on your part. But
Yeah.
I've done that before, to where we're at a show and I'm like honed in on this girl that's 24. She's like 24-ish years old, and the mom is like, I'm the one getting married.
Oh my goodness.
So it goes so many different
Yeah.
ways. So that's why I'm a huge supporter of just treating people the same across the board, because you don't know who's wanting your services.
Who's the client?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna be straight up with you. If you're a dick, if you're a bad person, and I catch that from my first meeting with you, I'll turn you down for that.
Yeah.
But
I was just gonna ask if you've ever fired a potential client.
Absolutely.
Because either their attitude or
Yeah.
views or whatever.
I if I can feel something's off, I either will say, hey, I'm not going to work with you guys. If you'd like to meet with one of our other DJs, feel free to, because I have some really laid back DJs on my team that are just kind of like, dude, I'm here to play the music, right? But myself, my process is a lot more hands-on. I'm with the couple a little bit more than the usual. So if I feel like something's off, another example, this guy was like really, he was like really, really disrespecting his fiance on our first meeting, which was a video call, like, just face to face. And he was like really talking down to her. So after that, I was like, I'm not going to be available for you guys. Like, I can't. So I'm just about treating people the way they should be treated in general, and not discriminating and doing all that stuff to make people feel less than.
In your experience, I guess, what would you say is, I don't know, out of how many weddings do you normally do a year?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
Just a more or
Ballpark.
less.
I'll say, for me, I'll say about 10. I don't do volume. I do quality. I'll do about 10 weddings a year. For us as a whole, we do somewhere around like 150 or so. Like, we do a lot of weddings in a year.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so do you, I guess in the past few years, have you noticed an increase in same-sex weddings, at least for you, as them hiring you? How has that been?
Yeah, I think now what I get is I get this like influx of people that come to me, and they kind of use me as a sounding board to just say like, hey, this is what I dealt with over here. What do you think of this? I get that all the time, where they'll hit me up on social media, or they'll just call me outright on the phone and say, this is what's happening. What do you think? And I'm cool with that. As far as like the increase in couples from the same sex background, I would say, like, if I was just giving it a number, maybe we've gone up 25% or so, because people identify with this language that I'm putting out, which is treat everyone the same.
Oh, yeah.
But I do want to make it clear that this is me. This isn't some marketing ploy where I'm trying to jump on some bandwagon to get more same-sex couples. It's not that at all. I just want to make sure everyone gets the same type of service, because we all deserve the same shit.
Exactly. and I have, good thing that you bring up that point, because I have seen, I'm always on social media, just looking at videos and wasting time, really.
I mean, it's a fun black hole.
Yeah. So I've seen a lot of people, sometimes I love to read comments. Like, whenever I see a controversial video or something,
Yeah.
I automatically just jump into the comments. And I have seen a lot of comments where people just go in and start talking about vendors, saying like, oh yeah, they just recently started doing this type of weddings because they want to make sure that they're included and they're on they call it a trend or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're a wedding vendor out there and you are just jumping on a trend just to be trendy, you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong, and people are going to feel that.
They're going to call you out.
They're going to feel it right off the bat. And there is a technical term for that. It's called tokenism. So if you go, if you look at big corporations in the month of June,
they change the logo right away, and then July 1st comes around,
bam,
boom.
Or if you go to a certain photographer's website and it's getting close to June, and all of a sudden you see like that their home page is a big ass picture of a lady and a lady walking down the aisle.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, like what are we doing?
Like
right?
if you're going to support all year long.
Yeah.
Don't just wait until June.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know why we're just referring automatically to June. So June is Pride Month. And yes, that's normally when you see all the companies changing their logo to incorporate, the LGBTQ plus flag or colors, onto their branding and other marketing stuff on their website and things like that. So so don't just jump on a trend.
Yeah.
Just be supportive all the time.
Yeah.
And trust me, it feels good.
It does. Yeah. I just, man.
Let it out. Let me give you the burn book. Let it out.
I really would like people. Let me start over. If there's anyone that is on the other side of the tracks in which it's usually venues. I don't know why, but it's usually venues. If you're a venue or a vendor in our industry and you're watching this with, an open mind because you just want to hear a different side, I applaud you, because I feel like what makes everything go forward is perspectives. And if you're not taking in different perspectives every day of your life, you're never going to go forward, right? You're never going to improve on anything, period. That's just the way it works. So I would say if anyone is watching this that's on that other side that like completely disagrees with what I'm saying, just put yourself in their shoes for 1 second and think, what if you had to go? I'm just going to give a super broad example. What if when you pulled up to McDonald's, you got to the drive-thru, as soon as you said your order, they said, oh, wait, I forgot to ask you, are you gay? What if you had to do that shit every time you went to go buy something, right? And you had to prove yourself worthy of being able to use that service? That's insane because it's the same thing, right? What if it was your daughter that ended up being lesbian, in which we all know you don't end up being lesbian. I shouldn't have said it that way, but you get what I'm saying. What if it was your daughter who was trying to find a florist, and you went through this whole process, getting quotes, you got the design right, they've sent pictures back and forth, you got the bill, $24,000, and you're like, hey, this is great. Let's do it. Then all of a sudden, she has to prove herself.
Yeah.
So are you straight or gay? Because we don't like that's
like I just feel like that question is not even a thing anymore, or it shouldn't be a thing anymore.
You shouldn't give a fuck what.
Yeah. Like how does that affect you? Yeah. How does that even affect you?
It doesn't.
If you think about it, like I don't know, just asking or even having the thought of having to ask that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me.
Some of my favorite actors in Hollywood are gay, and you wouldn't even know it because they don't scream.
They don't have to.
They don't say
specify.
They
anything.
don't tell people, and it's not that they're hiding it. They're just them.
It's not relevant. It's just not relevant to their work.
And you know what that's what I was about to say. So the bigger picture is people respect them for their work and not their sexual orientation or sexual preference, rather. I think that a lot of this is really just coming down to being a good person at the end of the day. Another example, this is a venue example, is there's a new venue that opened up going towards the Hill Country, and I'll just say going towards the Hill Country because Marco was like, don't do that.
Don't name drop.
There's a new venue that opened up, and I love the way they designed this place because it's intimate, and it's meant to be one of those places where you'll have a wedding of about 100, between 75 and 100, and it's going to be a time. Like, people are going to leave that wedding going, dude, I did not want to leave that. It's an intimate place, right? Anyhow, I'm doing the tour as a vendor just to make sure I understand where everything is. She's giving me the rundown, explaining how everything works, plugs, load-in, all that jazz that matters to me because we're DJs. And as I drive off, I was like, damn, I forgot, which I shouldn't have to do this, but I forgot to ask if she is okay with same-sex couples or lack thereof or what have you, can get married there. So I called back and I was like, hey, just so I'm clear, because we don't go anywhere that is, discriminatory against anybody. are you going to allow yada, yada, yada? And then she goes, we haven't made up our mind yet. And I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't mad about it. It was just like it gave me hope, right? Mm-hmm. Because she let me know throughout that tour that she's a strong Christian woman. And I was like, cool. Like I said at the beginning, I respect that. I'm with you. Faith to everybody. Like, do your thing. I'm happy for you. But the idea that she was actually toying and you know, thinking on it to see where she stood on that had me so excited, because it's the opposite in Texas. It's, I'm a Christian and we don't do this. But anybody else that wants to get married here, like, come on.
That's just that. I mean, that's just horrible. I just keep going back to that because it just feels so wrong. It's so crazy to me that people even have to think about it. But anyways, I mean, I'm sure we can talk about this for a very long time. Oh, yeah. But I guess just to, you know, finalize this episode, I mean, what would be your advice, I guess, for couples that maybe haven't been in that situation but are planning their wedding? You know, what would be something that you would suggest to them? I guess, what kind of questions should they ask, or should that be the first question they ask a venue or any vendor in particular? How should they handle something like that?
Yeah, so there's a couple things that are available to you as resources. There is a website. My phone's over there, but I think I can remember this. There's a website, pretty new actually. It's called Texas Folks, and it's Folks FOL.
We can put it in the show notes as well.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But you can go there, and if you're in Texas, anyone that's very inclusive and willing to, you know, serve everyone, which should be normal, they should be in that database, and it shows you all the venues, vendors, everybody, right, that you can use from that list. So it kind of shortens that process and like helps you to get to where you need to be quicker. The other route you can go, if you're like me and you're like, yo, this is my money, so I need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
You just ask outright. Some of the couples now, right, that we're seeing, it's not even them that they're checking for. My brother is gay. Are y'all like that? Are y'all with this or what? Because my brother's gay, and if you're not going to support, then we're not getting married here, because I don't want him to feel like that.
Yeah.
So why not just ask outright? Everyone knows, and I think we all can agree, who's, you know, listening to this or even watching this, it should just be out in the public, so you don't have to do all this work. But if you don't have the balls to ask outright, if you're not like me, because I'm kind of crazy, if you're not like me, use your planner. That's what your planner's for.
Yeah.
They're supposed to know that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially like, I mean, yeah, I mean, we as vendors here in San Antonio, Austin, you know, the Hill Country area. Yeah. I feel like we're pretty close with everybody. Like, you Absolutely. know, we've been in the business for such a long time that I think we know what vendors to recommend or who does what. So yeah, like you said, that's great. You know, just checking with your planner, and they should be able to help you handle that situation.
And I do want to close by saying, for the most part, everyone in our area is not like that. For the most part, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, there's probably 7 venues that I could name like right now, and you won't let me, but I could name I could name 7 venues like right now in a row. But out of that 7, there's at least 60 more.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So if you look at it like that, then it is positive. But in the same sense, what are we doing?
Yeah. And if you want a list of those venues or those vendors that Winston is talking about, you can always send us an email and send us a DM on Instagram or Facebook, TikTok, wherever you find us, and we can facilitate.
Use the phone book. I bet you won't.
Do they even make phone books anymore?
Hey, they do actually.
They do?
They do.
What?
They do. They make in the video.
I have not seen a phone book in I don't even know how long. I mean, I don't even think my parents have one.
They do. I used to love the guys that would come to school and rip.
That is crazy. Anyways, we're running out of time. Thank you so much for being here again.
I used to love that.
All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of The Tipsy Guest. Winston, thank you so much for being with me today.
H-Town to San Antonio, you know what it is. Yeah.
We will have you again, I'm sure. You are a fun guest, and I'm sure people enjoy your company as well.
I appreciate that, man.
Thank you, guys. Until next time. Thanks for listening to the Tipsy Guest podcast. If you know someone who could benefit from these tips, spread the love and share it with them. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Next round's on us. Same time, same place. Cheers! This podcast is brought to you by MVP Photo Booth, the #1 photo booth rental company in San Antonio, Austin, and Central Texas.